When it comes to looter shooters, it's all about the loot. Heck, it's even in the name. But with Outriders' full release just a few months away, we wanted to take some time to talk about armor, how it works, how it will enhance you, and how it will make you deadlier than ever before. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here, one half of the team behind Legacy Gaming, and today we're suiting up and teaching you everything you need to know about armor in Outriders. By now, you probably know that there are 4 distinct classes in Outriders, and each will bring something vastly different to the table. Over on the Outriders Twitter this week, the team decided to showcase some legendary armor sets, and that gave us a great opportunity to talk about armor as a whole in the scope of the game. If we pull up a piece from the Technomancer, I think there's a few things that you'll be familiar with. Items in Outriders have a level associated with it, and while your character can only get to level 30, your gear can surpass that, allowing you to take on endgame content known as expeditions. You'll also notice an armor component to each piece of gear, and obviously the higher that number is, the more damage you can take effectively. Where things really start to get interesting is the special bonuses associated with each piece of gear. You'll notice things like anomaly power, skill life leech, and cooldown reduction on the headpiece, but if we check out the boots, we see that max health has replaced anomaly power. These are important bonuses to pay attention to, and while we're just looking at legendary gear in this example, you're going to see a lot of gear during your time with Outriders, and focusing in on what bonuses will enhance your character the best will mean a more well-rounded build. The real secret to Outriders' armor system are the modifications. We talked about this quite a bit in our ultimate preview video, so if you want a sky-high perspective of the game and how that system works, I definitely recommend you go watch that first. You'll notice on this piece of legendary Trickster armor, we've got 2 mods, a tier 3 and a tier 1. A tier 3 mod is baked into the legendary and cannot be changed. The tier 1 mod, however, can be. In this case, the gear could drop with that tier 1 mod, or the player could have crafted it onto the item so long as they have the mod unlocked. Once a piece of gear is stripped down, the mods associated with it are banked in a sort of library that players can dip into to deck out the gear the way they want. In this case, the only way to get the tier 3 mod aggressive teleportation is to salvage this item. Yes, you'll need to salvage legendaries in this game, but don't worry, there's always the opportunity to get a piece of gear later on again. It's an incredibly well thought out system that keeps players hunting for specific mods, but rewards them once they find it, allowing them to use that mod indefinitely to trick out other pieces of gear. As you can see on the Chronosuit mask, mods are no joke. The T3 mod aggressive teleportation augments our borrowed time ability, giving it an explosive effect every time it's used. The other T1 mod, Strong Twist, isn't quite as flashy, but does provide an additional 15% increase to weapon firepower when active. Keep in mind there are over 350 mods in the game, so there will be no shortage of powerful combinations, and each piece of gear has its own set of mods, so you're not just thinking about 1 or 2 choices, you're thinking about nearly a dozen when building your character. Now, we're not done quite yet, as we still have to talk about the set bonuses. You'll notice that on this legendary Devastator gear, the 3-piece bonus is active, which gives the player a 90% cooldown reduction on Boulder Dash. To put that into practice, the ability Boulder Dash has a 21-second cooldown and allows players to perform a charge attack in a straight line, ending in an explosive AoE finisher. With the 3-piece set bonus active, you'll be able to use this ability every 2.1 seconds. Talk about a drastic change. You'll find these types of game-changing relationships all across Outriders, and it's something I think makes the game really promising. If we look at another set, we'll see the impact of set bonuses is substantial. The Reforged set, worn by the Pyromancer class, has another interesting set bonus, increasing the damage of Feed the Flames and Thermal Bomb by 50%. Now that may not sound as exciting as a 90% cooldown reduction, but we're talking about 2 abilities that will no doubt be the bread and butter of the Pyromancer class. Dealing 50% more damage with those abilities means enemies will die that much faster, and thanks to Outriders' unique healing system, that also means you'll be able to heal up much faster. There's something to be said for a snowballing effect with this game. Obviously, the better your gear, the more likely it is that you'll become an unstoppable killing machine, but because healing is intimately linked with the act of killing in the game, doing increased damage becomes that much more important. As with every game that involves gear sets, those set bonuses are going to play a major factor in not only determining your potency on a battlefield, but also guiding your playstyle. Using a set but not taking advantage of a bonus is a classic pitfall less experienced players often fall into. They see the shiny loot, but don't quite understand how it all works together. This gets more complicated and interwoven when we consider skills. Outriders has a pretty expansive skill tree for each of the 4 classes, but the real sticking point here is that you're not even going to come close to filling out an entire tree. At max level, you'll have 20 points that you can dedicate to your build, and this just adds another layer of depth to your character. Skills do the obvious things like increase anomaly power and boost your weapon damage, but the major nodes make more substantial changes to your character. Things like Outrider, Executioner, and the Trickster tree increase your weapon damage by 20% for 8 seconds when a movement skill ends. It's a major node clearly designed to push a particular playstyle, and when you consider how gear could also impact that playstyle, well yeah, there's plenty to think about. It's definitely something we're going to have to pay attention to a lot in Outriders. Keeping tabs on mod benefits, gear stats, skills, and set bonuses is a lot, but it's a fun challenge, and I think ultimately it will make for a much more enjoyable game. There's one more fundamental thing about armor in Outriders that you have to understand, and that's crafting. But I think the better term here would be tinkering. We're not crafting gear in the sense of putting together some scraps and creating something new. We're taking resources that we find out in the world and making our current gear better. We've seen these crafting options for guns already, and the same principles apply for armor. You'll be able to upgrade your armor's rarity, raise its attributes, mod it of course, and level it up. The only thing you won't be able to do is swap around variants, which makes sense since that's a very gun-specific thing. The system is designed to let you improve items for as long as you want, especially those items that have set modifications that can't change. If you find that best-in-slot piece of armor, you can use crafting to make it god tier. That's the whole purpose. Crafting also allows you to keep progressing even if you haven't found that perfect loadout yet. Outriders is clear with its intentions, giving players the flexibility to play and progress the way they want. Loot is such a staple of the genre, and the team behind the game recognizes players' attachment to that gear, so it's fitting that a number of systems all work together to really highlight how flexible the gear system truly is in the game. And with that, my friends, you are now ready to venture onto Enoch and start hunting for some legendary gear. Remember, there is a demo period coming up for the game in late February, so if you want to check out Outriders, no strings attached, you can do that. Livin and I plan on diving into the game once it goes live, and as part of the Ambassadors program for Outriders, we'll be able to bring you guys all sorts of exciting content early, so don't forget to toss a like on the video, and of course subscribe so you never miss a new Outriders drop. We'll see you back here for the next video. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.